this starts going, I'm dying.
Are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Hello guys, how's everyone doing? We're back here with what's gonna be our last regular episode of the GD1A Sports Podcast for this year. As you all know, the state tournament will start next Thursday in Salt Lake. We do plan on doing a shorter version of the show each night after the games, just to do a little recap, kind of let everybody know who won, who did what, and just kind of go from there. But as far as regular weekly schedules, this will be the last one of the season, unfortunately. So
yeah, it's kind of sad. The it's come to an end pretty much. So,
well, I feel like with us doing this, it made the season go by 10 times faster.
Oh, it definitely did for
which
me.
Sucks. I've had a lot of fun doing this, and I don't know, maybe we'll have to find something to come and talk about.
I think we're going to find something.
Well, there's a little something in the pipeline here at Tabiona, and maybe if that pushes through, we'll maybe talk about it.
Heck. But anyways, we're glad that everyone's tuning in to another podcast. Some great games was played this last week. First of all, I kind of want to mention some sponsors that's helped us get the studio built here, because honestly, me and Wasey, we couldn't have done it without our sponsors to kind of step in and help us to get the studio built. So, I just want to mention them. Our first sponsor, Grant Heating and Cooling out of Duchesne, Kyle Grant. Thank you, Kyle, for being the first one that kind of stepped up and said you would help us in any way, shape, or form that we needed. Second of all, DFA Logging. That's me and my dad supplying all the lumber and stuff.
Which, before you move on, I just want to say, for me personally, thank you guys too, because that was a huge part of our studio. And you said we couldn't do it without the sponsors, and just make sure you remember, even though you're doing this, you're one of the big ones. So me to you, thank you.
The third one here is HG Outdoor Custom Steel Buildings and Pipe Fence. That's Hayes Giles out of Tabiona. He just kind of started getting rolling with his business, but if you need anything as far as a pipe fence build or, a steel building of any kind, he's gotten really good at what he does. And if you want to check him out, he's got Instagram pages and, all that stuff. So go check him out if you need any work done. He does a phenomenal job.
Type of stuff you're looking for, absolutely, he does. I would suggest, if that's something you're interested in, following his Instagram, because he does great work. Anything from horse stalls to arenas to barns, he does really good. So check him out, and he's located here in Tabiona, but he travels all over. So.
Yeah, so we want to just thank you, Hayes, for being one of our sponsors there. Our next sponsor is Giles Glass out of Tabiona. Brett Giles, anything to do with a window, if it's your house, your car windows, he is the man to go to.
I believe he even does some commercial too.
Yes, he does.
I know he does heavy equipment, semis, he does it all.
So I just wanted to mention, our 4 big sponsors.
We have one more.
Oh yeah, we do have one more actually.
I don't know exactly. He hasn't gotten back to me yet, but he's our cousin Dylan Hoffman. Well, Hayes is our cousin too, I guess.
Yeah.
But Dylan Hoffman, he has a little business where he sells drill pipe. So any drill pipe you're needing to get, sucker rod, anything like that, contact Dylan Hoffman. We probably should have been given contact numbers on these.
We'll get to that, but we just wanted to say, the studio's about done, but we just wanted to thank all the sponsors that's willing to help us out, so to
Absolutely.
get us started. So,
like Dolly said, we couldn't have done it without you guys. So yeah, thank you so much.
So with that, let's roll in. So, funny thing here, me and Wasey, we decided to put together kind of our Power 5 rolling into this tournament. We showed up with our phones, and they're the exact same, which we did not plan that.
No, we did not.
But I looked right at Wasey. I said, well, we don't even need to go back and forth because it's the exact same. So what we did here, you want to read those off
Sure.
on the boys' end?
Sure. So yeah, for our top five on the boys, we went with, and this is no particular order. I mean, we just kind of did our top five. We picked Wayne, Rich, Manila, Paiute, and Panguitch, and then we kind of threw in like I called it a wild card pick. I don't really know what else to call it, but a team that we think maybe some aren't really expecting, but we think could go the distance. And we took Green River on that one because they've been a pretty solid, consistent team all year.
Yes.
I mean, they've got some weapons. You know, they've got three kids that can really shoot, a couple of kids that just have a nose for the ball on the rebounds. So they're kind of our, I don't want to call them a Cinderella story because they're not going in as a huge underdog, but kind of that same idea. So
yeah. And then on the girls' end,
so for the girls, the top five we picked there was Tabiona, Wayne, Rich, Panguitch, and Paiute. And our wild card pick on the girls' side is Valley.
yeah.
I'm actually excited to watch Valley. I haven't been able to watch them yet, but I know. Oh my goodness, I just blanked on both of their names. Who's been their main scorers? Anderson.
Anderson, yeah.
Andy Anderson and Matty Cox. Yeah, they both play good ball, and I'm excited to watch them. That's one team that I haven't had a chance to watch at all year. So, but yeah, that's kind of our. And like I said, guys, that's in no particular order. We just wanted to choose kind of like our Power Five, and that's just.
When we look at the Power Five, though, it's, I mean, everyone's just on the same level. It's not like there's a powerhouse this year.
No, there's not. That's why I emphasize it's not in any particular order.
I mean, even if we could have sat here for an hour to try and figure that out, but
you know, and let me say this too. You know, the teams that we didn't pick in our Power Five, there's upsets at tournaments all the time. So I hope, you know, some of these teams we didn't choose. We're nothing against you. You know, this is just stuff that we have watched all year.
Yep.
Kept tabs on all year. We kind of know who's been dominant in certain areas, and that's kind of what helped us make these picks. So,
but yeah, you know, the state tournament's gonna be so fun. Can't wait. I'm excited for this week. It's just been something that we've been looking forward to all week long. But with the first rounds already being played,
yep.
I got the boys kind of pulled up with some games here. The first game I got pulled up is Paiute beat Wendover 95-31.
Let's see. Do we want to cover that very first round first?
Yeah, you better cover that.
Yeah, because there was a very first round. So on that we had Wendover beat Pinnacle 66-55. St. Joe beat Escalante 50-42. Monticello beat Dugway 66-19. Milford beat Water Canyon 60-55. Whitehorse beat Mount Vernon 76-56, and Tinnick beat Monument Valley 72-27. So that was kind of the first round of everything. That was actually what would be called a play-in game, and those games were all held last Tuesday. Altamont also played. They didn't play until Thursday.
Yeah, because of the big storm that came.
Yeah, and that kind of sucked for them too. They had to play Telos here at home, which they did win by about 20. The very next day, they had to turn around and travel all the way down to Panguitch. Yeah. But that was the one game that's not here, but Altamont, they did play. Now you can go, oh, there it is, they played Thursday, I guess. So you can go ahead on to the Friday games.
Yeah,
now.
I had Paiute and Wendover here. Like I said, Paiute won 95-31, so handled Wendover really well. Looking at the stats of that game, Nevrez had 18, G. Eliason had 15, Montague with 14, Glebe with 13, Myers 9, Marr 8, Morgan 7, G. Eliason 6, Millet 4, and Montague 2. So a game for the Thunderbirds, kind of just to let about anyone just kind of get in there and get some time in.
Yeah,
for sure.
Sounds like the whole team scored. And just for reference, that was the number 3 seed Paiute against the number 16 seed Wendover.
Yeah, and then on Wendover's end, Tom had 10 points, Lopez had 10, Fellows had 6, Grillo had 3, and Bateman had 2.
You know, in Wendover, they've got that new coach this year. And, you know, sometimes it takes a couple years to kind of get
rolling.
to get rolling,
Yeah.
to get your program established. And so we'll see what happens with Wendover next year, see what they can do.
For sure. The next game, Monticello and Green River. Green River got them 58-40. On the Pirate end, Hernandez came out 19 points with 2 3-pointers. Hernandez had 13 points with 4 3-pointers. Anguiano, is that how we say his name
I
again?
think so.
Anguiano.
Anguiano.
12 points for him with a 3.
It's Rolly.
Yeah, Rolly. Yeah. Like I said, we got to talk with them a few podcasts ago, and there's some great dudes, Hernandez and Rolly. Escalante had 10, and Mendoza had 4 on the Buckaroo end. C. Young had 13. K. Young had 13. Keys had 7. Mac with 5, and Nelson with 2. So, but yeah, a good kind of region matchup there again. But like I said, the Pirates, they've just been playing well all year. And
and that one again, I'm gonna say these just so people know. Green River was the number 7 seed. Monticello was the number 11.
Yeah.
On that matchup. Which one you have next? And I'll just say their seeds real quick, and then you can go into the game.
I got Panguitch and Altamont.
So Panguitch was the number 5 team. Altamont the number 12.
And Panguitch beat Altamont 52-33. Berga, I didn't have rebounds on this.
Oh boy,
game.
I do. He had a grundle of him. He was one of my performers of the week.
Like I said, Des News hates rebounds. Don't know why.
He only had 21 rebounds, Dow.
Gee.
Yeah, that's it. He must have took the night off or something.
With 19 points too. So Berga doing what we've seen him do all year long, just preparing.
Plus he had 3 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. So he kind of put a mark in the whole stat sheet. He had some turnovers too, but I don't like mentioning those. But he did completely fill the stat sheet.
But 19 points for him, and then Barney behind him with 10. Bentley with 6. K. Bentley with 6. Ramsey with 4. Ingolstead with 3. T. Ramsey with 2. Birmingham with 2. On the Altamont's end, Wall had 13. Tew had 7. Sorensen was 7, and Jessen was 6.
So Tew only had 7 points, which we know he came off of a huge game when they went out and beat Tannic. He had, 27, I think? So a lot slower game for him. Could have been the long bus ride. Maybe they knew and they locked him down.
But when you're going against, in my opinion, probably one of the best coaches in the entire state, especially when it comes to state tournament time. I mean, Coach Barney, I'd love to pick his brain and know what he puts together when it comes to state tournament time.
That's someone that, if anyone from Panguitch, if you listen to this, or even Coach Barney yourself, we both would love to sit down with you at the tournament, even if it's only for 5-10 minutes, because I have one question in particular that I would love to ask you. I would love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, he's just phenomenal, and
because I played against him, you played against him.
Yeah.
And he's just he's a solid coach. And so if you listen to this, I would love to get a few minutes of your time if possible.
The next game I have pulled up here is the Wayne Badgers and the Milford Tigers.
So Wayne is the number 2 seed, Milford the number 15 seed.
And Wayne ended up getting them 61-42. Robbins came in with 15 points. Like I said, I don't have rebounds, so if you can get that in. I can,
yep.
Robbins with 15 points in that game. Peterson had 14 in that game with 2 3-pointers. Martinez had 14. Payu had 10. Brown with 4. Jackson with 2. And Hallows with 2. And then on the other end, Sullivan, 14 points for him. Barnes had 13 with 2 3-pointers. Kessler with 10. And Saavedra with 5. But, even though Milford came up short, you could just tell they was a team, they'd kind of struggled all year. But I felt like they was a team that never just backed down.
Yeah, that's true. And, on the Badgers side, Robbins had 8 rebounds. Martinez had 8 rebounds. They were the 2 rebound leaders for them. Peterson also had 9 assists and 4 steals.
Wow.
On the Milford side, Boston Sullivan, he had 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals. So a good solid game from him. Saavedra had 5 rebounds and a steal. Everybody else was kind of 1 or 2 rebounds. I did, well, you just went over the stats, but Blake Peterson was my other top performance because of the You know, he was just 1 assist shy of a double-double with the 14 points, 9 assists.
And like
so.
we've said all year, we love assists because, you know, it's hard to get them assists. So
Yeah.
the next game I have pulled up is Tintic and Bryce Valley.
So in that game, Bryce Valley's the number 6 seed, Tinnick number 10 seed.
And Bryce Valley ended up getting them a win, 54-49.
And all of these games, I think you guys all know, but just in case some of you don't, the higher seed team, the game was at their home floor. Just to clarify that.
On Bryce Valley's end, has had 15 points with 2 3-pointers. Moreno had 12 points. Syra had 10. Lopez with 7. Shinoff with 5. Gray with 4. And Jay Surrett with 1. But, you know, like I said, at the first of the year, it was kind of all Syra. He kind of had to, he was really putting the numbers up, really just being a dominant ball player. But now these other guys have really stepped in, and I think that's going to be a big key come state tournament time for them. You know, because like I said, it's hard to go very far in the tournament if you only have one guy that's trying to do it all. So
and they did a number on Jamison too. I think he had 7 points.
He had 11.
11.
Yeah, Jones was the high scorer in that game with 19, and Jamison had 11 with 1 3-pointer. Brown had 8 in that one. Hansen had 7, and Bigler with 2. You know, Jamison, he's been just awesome to watch all year. Well, the past couple years, honestly. So, because he is a senior, correct?
He is, yep.
Yeah. You know, it's gonna suck to not see his name next year, but
it's gonna suck to see him not at the state tournament.
Yeah,
because you know, a good player like that.
He is definitely that player that, you know, should be in there. But like I said, with the format being changed to where you got to win on your, you know, that first playing game, you know, like we said, making it to the state tournament now, that's a huge goal.
Absolutely. And I still can't say that I'm a huge fan of the new format. I really like the 4-day tournament. I mean, I understand. I've talked to several people, and I understand the reasoning for it. I'm just not a fan. Stay the way it was.
Well, like I said, that consolation ain't near as, you know, competitive because there's not one. But yeah, tough to see Tinnick lose and not be in Salt Lake. But, you know, Jamison, if you're listening, you've played a heck of a career. And, you know, if you plan on going somewhere, you know, after high school, please get a hold of us and let us know because you are phenomenal.
Absolutely. Any of you seniors that we've talked about this year, if you guys do go to the next level, please do, you know, keep tuning into our podcast and let us know because we'll follow you through your college path too. That's absolutely.
The next game I have pulled up here, Taviona and Valley.
So Valley number 8 seed, Taviona number 9.
Valley ended up winning that one 52-41, which was, you know, obviously we're always rooting for our hometown Taviona Tigers, but it was kind of a heartbreaker to see. You know, the seniors just kind of struggled in that game. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of a hard game to watch. Just couldn't get rolling. Nothing to really could fall for them.
You know, I'm just gonna be blunt with it, and this may be a unpopular opinion, and it may upset some people. And I'm not trying to upset some people, but there was no fight.
Yeah.
There was no. It seemed to me there was zero effort. And I'm not taking anything away from Valley. Valley played a good game. Just on Tabiona's side, it just, to me, I did not see the desire to win. Yeah. You know, and it's just, again, I'm not trying to upset anybody. That's just what I saw.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, it's hard to travel, what is it, six hours to go down there, but still, you know,
but
mentally you've got to get yourself prepared to come out and you know, try work your butt off, do whatever you can. But yeah, like you said, the shots might have not been falling, but it was the turnovers and the, you know,
not rebounding. You know, a kid from Valley, I wonder if it's on here. He had a heck of a game. Valley doesn't put their stats up.
I have their points on.
Who's 00?
He didn't. There's just a 0.
Okay, maybe it's 0.
Baird. Was it Baird?
Gosh, that name doesn't sound familiar. Whoever it was, did he score?
I don't think so. That's all I have is scores. So if he didn't score, I only see a 0. I don't see a 00.
Whoever the kid was, I'll have to
Is
find
it
out.
on their roster over there? While I do that, I'll just go over these stats here. But House had 19 points with 3 3-pointers, and Coach Gines went down there with a game plan to. I believe they done a box and chase on him, but House just still, found a way to get to the rim and make some tough shots.
And they did a good job on him in the first half. He was pretty quiet in the first half. It was just he come out, didn't give up. Even though he was being face guarded, he just kept playing through it.
Yeah, House is a good player, and he's going to, like I said, when they play at the state tournament, I guarantee you he's ready.
When I could not put a face to his name all year. But when I watched that game, I instantly knew who he was. I remembered seeing him at state last year.
Yeah.
So once I saw that face, I was like, okay, I know who this kid is. All year I'm like, I know, I've had to have seen him. Who is he?
Yeah.
But I just couldn't do it. So seeing that game, I was glad that I could finally put a face to a name.
But yeah, 19 points with 3 3-pointers. W. Baird had 12 points. Smith had 6 with 2 3-pointers. Harris had 6, Chamberlain with 6, and P. Harris had 3. So
and Connor Smith with those 2 threes and the 6 points. Listening to the broadcast down there, from what it sounded like, he's not one that usually hits threes. Maybe in a JV or so. It kind of sounded. I don't know. They weren't saying he couldn't shoot. It just made it sound like. Well, in fact, one of the guys said that's a good 6 points that they maybe weren't counting on.
Right.
So for Valley to have a kid step up, get you 6 points. I mean, that's huge for a team, come in, because I don't think he started. I'm pretty sure he came in off the bench. That's all you can ask for. 6 points from a kid off the bench. Come and give us a little spark, couple big threes. But the kid I was thinking of, I think you're right, it's Weston Baird.
Yep.
And he had, if I'm wrong, guys, then feel free to correct me. I'm trying to go off of memory here, but if it was him, 7 offensive rebounds for a total of 11 rebounds in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid was going after every single ball that come off of that rim. And I don't know how many second chance points he got. I know he got some. But for one kid to come out and get 7 offensive rebounds, that is huge for a team.
Oh, yeah, and I hope that, he realizes that he needs to do that in the tournament for his team to go, to that semis.
And he's a junior, so he'll be back again next year to play. I think, isn't House a senior? Oh, no, House is only a junior, too.
And that's what I said. The Valley squad, they're set up, but they got a tough matchup.
Who's the big kid? Harris. He's only a junior.
Yeah.
So they'll be a solid team again next year.
But yeah, they are going up against the number 1 Rich Rebels, which
they do have a tough first game.
We know that the Rebels are a handful, but if Valley shows up, they hit them offensive boards like that and play tough. Mm-hmm. I mean, they could be right there.
For
so
sure.
You just never know. Like we said, we've said it all year. When you go to the state tournament, it's 0-0. It doesn't. The people that look at the regular season now, you got to look past that.
And like I've said before, you can tell which ones do and which ones don't. Because sometimes there's teams that go down there that have been at the top all year, and they end up getting upset. And sometimes, my opinion is I think that's a mindset, because sometimes you go in there thinking, well, these guys haven't played very good all year. It shouldn't be too tough of a game. And when you go in with that mentality, that's probably going to be the toughest game you'll play all tournament.
Yes.
So
yeah,
we'll see who goes in with the right mindset and wanting to reset at that 0-0 and take care of business.
But then the stats on the Tabiona end: Rocky Rhodes, 13 points for him. Olson had 12. Grell had 6. Thomas had 4. Hughes had 3, and Strand Giles had 3. So
and Rocky really struggled in that first quarter. He was, it's not that he wasn't trying. He was getting looks. His turnaround jumpers, they would not fall. He could not get a basket for the first quarter of that game.
And and for Rocky and Jackson, I hope in the off season they see where they struggled in their game this year, because like Rocky used to be one of the best shooters I remember coaching, and now he's fell away. So I'd love to see him get his shooting back, because we know he can finish around the rim. If he could bring that 3-point game back in, I mean, he's going to be one heck of a ball player.
And he hit a few during the year, but we watched, maybe it was the Valley game, or it might have been Manila at home. I mean, they were sagging 5-6 feet off of him.
Yeah,
and he just wasn't taking the shot. And I think if that's the case, you got to be able to take that shot.
And that's the thing, like, when he was a freshman in junior high, I mean, he was probably one of the deadliest shooters on the team.
Mm-hmm.
But so I hope that he goes through this off season and really gets his shooting back into play, because that'll be a big difference for the Tigers next year.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that they will, because last year Rocky and Jackson was at the gym every day.
Yeah.
Every single day you'd see their vehicles over there. So
Yeah.
they do put in gym time.
And we know Olsen can shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, heck, we had our little alumni tournament this weekend, and he won the 3-point contest and the free throw contest. I mean, Olsen, he's going to do what I'm sure he does. I just hope that he still finds them part of the his game, maybe on the defensive end, maybe working to get his body a little quicker to stay in front of guys. But yeah, next year, watching them too, with these freshmen coming up and even some of these 8th graders that are going to be freshmen, it's going to be interesting to watch them next year.
And some of those 8th graders coming freshmen, I think they're going to help them out. There's a couple, there's some good players in that age group. So.
Oh, for sure. So the next game I got pulled up here is Rich and St. Joe.
Which Rich being the number 1 seed, St. Joe being the number 14.
Yep. Rich ended up getting that one 74-50. With these stats, it was kind of all over the place. Scott had 14, Lundgren had 14, Fonsback had 14, Holmes had 13, Weston had 7, Nielsen 6, Grohl 4, and Wasden with 2. And a lot of threes. Scott had 4 threes in that game. Lundgren had 2, Fonsback had 3 threes, Holmes had 3 threes. So, I mean...
So 13, didn't Weston have 1?
Yes.
So 13, what was that, 13 or 14 threes as a team?
Yeah. So, and then on St. Joe's end, Fridgeberg Gerlich, I hope I said that right, 14 points for him with 2 threes. Betancourt had 12 with 2 threes. Beatty had 11, Donovan was 6, and Cook had 4. So, and that's the one thing, with the Rebels going up against Valley. Valley likes to play that extended zone, but the Rebels got such good shooters. So, if they shoot the ball well, I hope the Valley maybe can man them up maybe too. Because we know how Rich is. When they get rolling shooting the ball, man, they are tough to stop.
Well, and Valley plays that full court 1-2-2 press, and Rich has very good ball handlers.
Yeah, well, and they're also athletic.
And quick.
Yeah.
Rich, for a very long time, has ran that press breaker where it's, I'm not going to say exactly what it is because I don't want to give up their little game plan, but it's a quick boom, boom, get down the floor, beat the press, and they're pretty good at doing it.
Yeah.
And it's been that way I've been out of school 20 years, and I know it was like that when I was in school.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, definitely going to be, like I said, a contender when the tournament happens on Thursday. The next game I have here is Manila and Whitehorse.
And Manila, the number 4 seed, Whitehorse, the number 13.
And, Manila, they must have showed up just wanting to play, because these 2 players right here, Goodman, 28 points for him. Along with Chowning having 28 points with 6 3-pointers for Chowning. So, and like I said, we watched Chowning play, and he's the real deal for a guard. He's fast, and he can shoot the ball. I mean,
well, and when you get 56 points out of 2 players,
yeah,
good luck.
Yeah,
you're gonna have a rough night.
And then Bambro had 12 with 3 3-pointers. Bear had 12 with the 3. Weber with 2. Platt with 2. Hughes with 2. So. Yeah,
Hughes only had 2, huh?
Mm-hmm. I don't have the rebounds or assists. So.
There's nothing. They don't put anything on max prep. So
on the Whitehorse end, Joe, 15 points for him. Ham had 13. Thomas with 12. Ed City 6. Black 4. Thompson 2, and Leo with 2. But we was talking about the Tigers having to travel 6 hours to go play a game. I don't even know how long of a drive that is.
It's a long way.
But I know they was talking about how the state of Utah is really cracking down on bus driving hours and things, so they're not allowed to go over their 11 hours. And so that's, from what it sounds like, in the future, it's going to kind of be tough for these bus drivers to do these long trips, because you have to pretty much send two drivers are the way I understand it to do it. But
Well, this says, I don't know which route they would have taken. The fastest route is 7 hours.
yeah, and after you stop and eat and do, I mean, you're 8+ hours. I mean,
Mhm.
that's a full weekend of just traveling.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a long ways for Whitehorse have to go and get off of a bus. And like I said, with no JV game or anything like that, you're rolling in, warming up, and it's game time. So.
Yeah. On the road.
That's all I had on the boys. So looking at the tournament now, do you have that pulled up?
I do. I can get it right here. The bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Thursday morning at 10 o'clock, the first game will be the number 4 Manila against the number 5 Penguich. The 11:30 game will be the number 1 Rich Rebels against the number 8 Valley Buffaloes. The 1 p.m. game, the number 2 Wayne Badgers against the number 7 Green River Pirates. And the 2:30 game is the number 3 Paiute Thunderbirds against the number 6 Bryce Valley Mustangs.
Yeah, so like I said, and I feel like all them games, they're going to be good.
I think every one of them could be good games.
Yeah, so I feel like the first day out of state is going to be awesome. We can probably roll over to the girls here, because I'm sure we'll probably talk a little more about the tournament here near the end. But will you roll off them few playing
Yeah,
games?
so it would have been, let's see, Wednesday, I guess, is the earliest that we go back. Water Canyon, number 15 Water Canyon beat number 17 Monticello 62-50. Number 16 Bryce Valley beat number 18 St. Joe 47-23.
And
Oh, and then Altamont, their game got pushed back because
yeah.
of the storm too.
Yeah.
Number 14 Altamont beat number 19 Pinnacle 49-23.
So that was the play-in games.
Mm-hmm.
Now for the first round, I got here Escalante and Paiute.
So that was number 5 seed Paiute, number 12 seed Escalante.
Paiute ended up getting them 47-34 in that game. Handle on Paiute. Points with 2 3-pointers. Number 10 K King had 10 points with 2 3-pointers, and then B Randall had 7, Talbot with 6, and Morrill with 1. On Escalante's end, Fry had 15 points, Gardner with 8, Carlisle with 8, and Holcomb with 2. And you know, like we've said before, Fry, a really young player. I think, you know, a lot of basketball and stuff to be played in the future.
Well, and one thing on that game I just want to say, so the score 47-34, they beat them by 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, I can do math, guys, 13. But if you look at Fry, she was 0 for 5 from the 3. She usually shoots a little bit better than that, so she gets some of those threes to go. That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, and like I said, I feel like they're a young team, ain't they? The Mokees, I believe.
Yeah, they have
if I remember.
one senior,
Yeah, one senior.
Kaylee Carlisle. The rest are, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sophomores and 1 freshman. And I don't know what they've got coming up for freshmen, but very young team.
But yeah, you know, so even though we're not going to see them, you know, in Salt Lake, can't wait to see what they put together for next year. So, but yeah, on Paiute's end, I still might have to agree with Coach Fabrizio when I talked to him a few weeks ago. I think they're a team that's clicking really well right now, and it's going to be interesting for
And it's
sure.
a great time to be clicking.
Yes, it is. The next game I have pulled up here is Altamont and Taviona.
So Tabiona, the number 3 seed, Altamont, the number 14.
Tabiona beat Altamont 53-21. Bella Giants, you know, 5 3-pointers in that game with 15 points. Joy Giants behind her with 12 points and 3 3-pointers. And then Hagman had 11. Elizabeth Giants had 4. Fabrizio with 4. Allred with 3. Riddle with 2. And Chloe Pippi with 2. So,
You know, and in that game, that first half, I actually thought that's probably the best that I've seen Altamont's girls play all year in the first half. The only thing that hurt them, they missed a ton of free throws and a ton of baskets.
Yeah.
If they could have got the ball in the basket, that halftime score would have been a lot different.
Yeah.
You know, I talked to the assistant, Braxton Spencer, after the game for a minute, just, you know, about the whole situation. I told him, I says, man, your girls looked pretty solid as far as, you know, Ollie Farr inside. She is tough, and she's only a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
So if she sticks with it and keeps working, she's going to be a heck of a ball player. I think it was Cicely Farnsworth, 13, number 13.
I don't have her on here.
So she may not have scored, but she will be another tough presence inside because, you know, watching her post up, go for the rebound, she's tough, both of those two girls. So, you know, Braxton was, you know, a little upset that they had lost, but like I told him, I said, man, you got some young girls. Bywater's only a junior, you know, so she's got some potential for shooting the ball. So I told him, you know, you may feel like crap right now, but I think you got a pretty decent group of girls coming back next year, and I don't know what they have coming in from the 8th grade level, but
Right.
But yeah, it was good to talk to him for a minute, and like I said, I think that's the best half that I've seen Altamont play in a while. They just couldn't get the ball to go in the basket.
Right. The next game I have here is the Rich Rebels beat the Tinnick Miners 68-31.
And Rebels were the number 4 seed, the Miners the number 13 seed.
And on that one, Farr had 13. This is for Tinnick. Farr had 13. Condor had 8. Underwood with 5. Despain with 3. And Gout with 2. And like I said, I know Snell.
So she must not have been
She
there.
must not have been there. But, you know, I really wish that, because I know she's a really tall, good player.
Mhm.
And I know the Miners could use her for sure. But
Yeah, it's too bad that they can't make that,
you know,
the two things work.
But if she loves volleyball, I don't blame her.
No, I
you know?
don't either. I don't either.
You know, if you want to be great at something, you got to commit, and
And
that's
if she, and if she feels like that she's a better volleyball player than a basketball player, then, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. On the Rebels side, Weston had 21 points with 4 3-pointers in that game. McKinnon had 17 with 1 3. Smith had 14 with 2 threes. Morse had 8. Pugmire was 6, and White had 2. And like I said, the Rebels only being the 4th seed, but in my opinion, they should. I mean, I feel like they should be up there a little higher.
I'll tell you right now, going into the state tournament, they're not the number 4 seed in my opinion.
No.
You know, they're a great team.
Yeah, they are so solid.
And if you get, you know, and in this game, Pugmire, they didn't really need a lot from her because they won by quite a ways. But she only had 6 points, you know. And if you get a game where Weston puts up 21, which Pugmire again didn't need to because Paige Smith had 14 and McKinnon 17. But Pugmire's just as capable of getting that many along with those girls and pushing that lead even bigger.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, as far as the rankings going in the tournament, I feel like Rich should probably be in that number 2 or 3 spot for sure. Possibly number 1.
Yeah,
But it goes to show you, you know, at the first of the season they played tough teams, and that RPI just kind of mixed up a little bit crazy. So the next game I have pulled up here is Panguitch and Water Canyon.
Well, Panguitch, the number 1 seed, Water Canyon, the number 15. I thought that was
And
16.
here's something I just want to say. When I seen Panguitch jump to number 1, it about blew my mind, because I did not. I mean, I know that winning your region can really push you, but I didn't think that they'd jump to number 1, I'll be honest. So, and I think there was a lot of people that thought that too.
It was interesting because Water Canyon was winning that game with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, that's what we was talking to a few people that was kind of watching it, and they said it was about to be an upset.
And the only thing I could think on that, I don't know anything about Water Canyon. I need to try to get a little better educated on them. But just my assumption, I think that came down to because Panguitch won by 9. And like I said, they were down with 5 minutes to go. So I feel like that is just the experience of knowing how to close out a game, how to step it up. I say this all the time, gut check.
Yeah.
I feel like that may have been the difference in that game. Again, I don't know anything about Water Canyon, but I know that Panguitch knows how to seal the deal. So I'm sure that switch got flipped. They're like, all right, it's time.
And the one thing too, why I think this game was really close, is Owens only had 1 point.
Oh yeah.
In that game, and I know she probably shot quite a few because she's, they have confidence in Owens and they let her shoot the ball quite a bit.
So she was 0 for 5 from 3.
Yeah, and so that's tough when your best shooter is only giving you 1 point.
And so her 1 point was a free throw, so she was 0 for 6 from the field.
Yeah, and that's tough. But like we said, I'm sure when she comes to the tournament, you better know where Owens is at because
we witnessed that firsthand.
Yes.
Against the Tigers.
But on Panguitch's end, Tate Miller, just a great performance from her, 22 points with a 3. Yardley had 9 with a 3-pointer. Torgerson had 7. Edwards with 4. Hatch with 2. And like I said, Owens only had 1 point in that game. On Water Canyon's side, Johnson had 11. Barlow had 11. Nielsen had 7. MB had 4. And Jessup had 3.
And I had Tate Miller as the top performer of the week for the girls as one of the two. With those 22 points, she had 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. And not a single turnover.
Right.
So that's a pretty good game. 2 fouls is all, so she played well.
And going in, the focus is always on Miller. I feel like all of them girls are good, but you can tell watching their games through the season that people are, coaches are focused on her. They don't want her to get rolling. So
well, and here's something interesting too. And I know they'll have, they've got younger players, but as far as the 7 girls that are on the stat sheet here, they are all seniors except for one, and that's Annie Yardley. She's a junior. So they have a ton of seniors this year, and there may be some that didn't score or something, I don't know. And, we know they have younger players. I'm sure they'll be a solid team again next year, but that's a lot of seniors.
Yeah, that is a lot of seniors.
A lot of good seniors.
So, but yeah, Panguitch, they moved their way up to number 1. So, them and the Rich Rebels, they're on the same side of the bracket. So, if it falls into play, we might get to see a pretty interesting semifinals game. But
and I feel like I want to mention this. I just noticed it here. Owens, she only had the 1 point, but she did have 8 rebounds. That's pretty good because Owens isn't very tall.
Right.
So to come in there and get 8 rebounds, a couple of assists, she may not have scored, but helped out in other ways.
Right. The next game I have here is the Valley Buffaloes and Monument Valley Cougars.
So Valley being the number 6 seed, Monument Valley being the number 10 seed.
And Valley got them 42-29. Franklin on Valley's end had 12 points. Anderson had 12 points. Roundy with 10. Jennings with 2. Crofts 2. Cox 2. And Brinkerhoff with 2. So them 3 players kind of pulled away to give Valley that win. And on the Cougars end, Cly had 15, Ateen with 6, Black Mountain with 4, Hunt with 2, and A. Cly with 2. So
and I think with Valley, when they get to Salt Lake, if they can figure out a way for either Anderson or Cox to get 15 to 20 and the other one get 10 to 15, and then you have these other girls kind of pitch in like they normally do. That's kind of why I picked them as my whatever I called it. I can't even remember now, but that's kind of why, because if one of those girls can get that 15 to 20, the other 10 to 15, I think they're going to be a pretty tough team to beat.
Oh yeah, definitely. The next game I have pulled up here is Milford and Whitehorse.
So let's see, Whitehorse the number 7 seed, Milford the number 11.
I know this is a missed typo, but they got Martin here with 182 points.
Well, that's a heck of a game. Considering the fact that they scored 63, I mean, she had a wonderful game.
Yeah.
I show on Max Prep she had 18.
Okay. Yeah, they put 182, so I was going to say that, that's a pretty good game for her. But yeah, Martin with 18. He had 20. Clark had 12. H.E. number 30 had 5. He had 4. Yellowman had 3 and Sam had 1 for.
See, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, are they different? The
No,
stats
no, no.
again?
I was just gonna say for Whitehorse, Martin. I'm gonna say only 18, which is a great game, but where she averages 26, 27 ish.
Yeah.
When you have Hannah Clark step up and get 12, Kiera Chi step up and get 20, that's huge for Whitehorse.
Oh,
Martin didn't need to score 30.
Yeah.
That's a big factor for Whitehorse too, because I guarantee you, anybody, well, it's going to be Tabiona, they're going to play Whitehorse. I would bet anything I have their game plan is to shut Martin down.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But if you do that, you can't allow Chi to get 20 and Clark to get 12.
Yes.
Because they can obviously beat you in another way. So.
Well, if you let the Raiders score 60 points, that's going to be a barn burner.
I think at state, if you let any team score 60, you're going to have a tough time winning. These are going to have to be defensive battles, low scoring. You're going to have to control the tempo of the game, especially against someone which I haven't watched Whitehorse, but I know in the past they're get the ball up the floor. They kind of once in a while get into that cherry picking type of thing. So you've got to always have someone watching back.
Yep.
Because they're going to try to, get down as quick as they can and try to get something up. And a lot of times they're the team too that instead of going in, especially with somebody like Martin who can shoot like she can, they don't always go for that layup. Even if they're there, they'll stop and pop that 3.
Yeah, they kind of get you out of rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
That they're a team that, like I said, going off past what we've watched, they're them teams that kind of just do crazy things and get you out of rhythm, and that's how they do a lot of their upsets.
And
too.
their crowd is extremely loud.
Yes, they are.
So when they start playing good, they get on a run. You're not only battling the Whitehorse team that's on a run, but you've got their crowd making that entire building echo. So they have a great support system in their crowd.
Yes. Then on Milford's end, McMullen, just another phenomenal game from her. 24 points with 2 3-pointers. What grade is she in?
Let's see here.
I can't remember what she is.
They're not on max prep, so I don't know. I'll go on their roster while you can.
But either way, if she's not a senior, man, Milford, it's gonna be fun to watch McMullen next year.
She's a junior.
Oh, she's
Jaden McMullen.
Yep.
Yeah, she's a junior.
Yeah, so next year I guarantee you she's gonna be putting up the same numbers as she has been all year. But yeah, 24 points for her. Sodelo had 9 in that game. Dalton had 7. Wilden with 3, Pechtel with 2, Beebe with 2, and Williams with 1.
So from what I'm showing here, they've only got 2 seniors, and it's Alicia. I think it's Cedillo. Cedillo. It's usually Cedillo. Anyway, whatever it is, and then Miley Wilden. They're the only 2 seniors they have. The rest are freshmen. There's a lot of freshmen.
So Dalton and McMullen, they'll be back next year, and they're a tough duo. We've said that all year. So.
Oh yeah, Acacia Dalton's had some great games this year.
Yeah, like I said, another tough one. I wish we could, like I said, have the normal tournament to see everyone at the state tournament.
I think that's why I don't like this format, is because at least in the old format, you get to go down and at least watch them play.
Yeah, because, they're all good ball players for sure. The next game I have pulled up here is the Wayne Badgers and the Bryce Valley Mustangs. Wayne ended up getting them 71-30. Looking at the stats, let's see, did you have their rank there?
Oh yeah, sorry.
I forgot. I know Wayne's
number 2, Bryce Valley number 16.
Number 16. In that game, Morrill had 12 points, Wood had 11, Torgerson had 11, Peterson with 11. Van Dyke, like I said, usually more of a performance out of her, but she only had 9. Erickson had 8, Snedeker had 6, and Jacobson with 3. But I would say with all these players that really got in here, I think they was just, like I said, trying to give other girls some minutes to get some time in.
That's what I was wondering, if maybe they jumped out and got a lead. And maybe, because 9 points for Van Dyke is just not normal. So I'm wondering if maybe your minutes were down a little because maybe they had a lead. I don't know. But Kira Peterson, I don't think we've talked a whole lot about her this year.
I don't think so.
But 3 threes, 3 for 4 from the 3 coming in as a sophomore with those 11 points that I don't think they're used to getting out of her.
Right.
So that's a great game for her too. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just missed it, but I just, for some reason, don't really remember the name that much, which sounds terrible. I should. I should know, these teams better.
We
but-
should know everyone by now, huh?
Well, Dow, it's a good thing we're not professionals. Give us a couple years here and we might get a little better at this.
Yeah. On Bryce Valley's end, Lopez had 12 points in that game with a 3-pointer. Barna had 7. Syret had 4. Vasquez with 3. Russo with 2. And Meekum with 2. So, and like I said, another team that Bryce Valley kind of struggled all year. But, they're a team that next year they could be one of the top dogs. You just never know because their programs ran really well. So,
yeah.
The next game I have pulled up here is Wendover and Manila. And we both kind of talked about this before. We kind of said, this game could go either way. So with Wendover getting that win over Manila 70-65, like a lot of people might have been surprised, but in my mind, I really wasn't that surprised to see that score.
I'm going to tell you I'm surprised, but it's only for the reason that the game was in Manila. That's the only thing. I knew, like you said, there are 2 games during the year. The last game, I think Manila beat them by 2. And the first time they played, Wendover beat them by 5, give or take a couple, or vice versa. I can't remember which game was which. But yeah, so we knew it would be a good matchup. The only reason I was a little bit surprised is because it was in Manila. So, which I know you'll get into it, but Wall had a good game, but that's kind of...
Yeah, I mean...
She kind of carried him as much as she could, you know what I mean?
28 points for her, so... Yeah, I mean, Wall done everything that she could have done in that. I mean, that you really couldn't ask for any more out of her.
And I think Browning... Well, I'll let you get to it.
But yeah, Castle Wall, 28 points. Like I said, heck of a ball player. I feel like if you're going to go out how you did on your senior season... Like I said, you did all you could, Castle. You've been an awesome ball player to watch, and I feel like a lot of people are gonna remember her name for a lot of years on the girls' end.
I agree.
Because she put up numbers. Well, like I said, I think she was second in all of 1A girls, right?
As far as scoring goes,
yeah,
right there.
I think she's right behind Kiara Martin. So. Yeah, just a heck of a ball player, and if she decides to go play ball somewhere, as far as on the college end, please let us know because we'd love to follow you as well because you have the potential for sure to probably go play, dang near about anywhere. So, Potter came in with 10 points and a 3-pointer. Pendleton had 9 with 2 3-pointers. Davis had 9 with 2 3-pointers. Browning had 7 and Gibson had 2 for the Mustangs. On the Wendover end, and we said this before, if Wendover wants to beat good teams, it can't be all Hicks. And that's exactly what happened in this game. Du Bois came in with 18 points with 2 3-pointers. Whereas, kind of been struggling this last
We've been
month
waiting
or two.
for this game for
Yes,
Alvarez
we have.
all year.
But she came in with 14 points with 4 3-pointers, and I mean, you already know that was huge because you take away them points that Alvarez, has been struggling to get.
She's only been getting around 4 or 5 a game
Yeah.
for the most part. I don't know what she averages, but not anywhere near 14.
So for her to shoot the ball that well, I mean, in my opinion, that was the difference in how Wildcats got
I can
that
tell you
win.
right here, Dal, she averaged 9.3 on the season. So I guess more than I thought, but like I said, this is the kind of game we've been waiting for her to play.
Right. But yeah, great to see her shoot the ball well. Hicks came in with 13, and like I said, I'm sure she was probably relieved in that game that she didn't have to try and do everything because, yeah, her teammates really helped her out.
And while we're on the subject, we have not talked about her yet, have we?
No, we
Do
have
you want
not.
to do that now,
Yeah.
or do you want to wait?
Yeah, I think we should mention Millie Hicks hitting her 1,000-point in her career. Just want to say congratulations because even though we've had quite a few players do it this year, but it is an accomplishment.
Oh, absolutely.
Just a heck of an accomplishment to hit
Well,
1,000 points.
And I just want to say, I've watched him the past couple of years. I think Hicks has been at Wendover all 4 years, I'm pretty certain. But I remember 2 years ago we went out there and watched him play, which she would have been a sophomore. And if I'm wrong, correct me, but I'm pretty sure it was 2 years ago. Because I remember watching her, and I was sitting by my wife, and I think I want to say it was Jake Gines maybe. But anyway, I said, man, that girl's going to be good. Mm-hmm. Like, I could tell watching, that's the first time I'd seen him play, but just watching her effort, her desire, the nose for the ball for rebounding, good footwork. Like, I knew as a sophomore, I said, she's going to be a good player. Well, and it turns out, she scores 1,000 points in her career. So I seen it coming. I didn't know she was going to hit 1,000, but I knew she'd have a good career. So it's pretty cool to be able to see, so Hicks, if you're listening, I agree with Dally. Congratulations. That's a heck of an accomplishment.
And then C. Stewart had 6 points in that game. Robles with 3, Hernandez with 2, and AG had 2. So.
And just because we were talking about it, I did find it. Castle Wall was number 2 in scoring at 22.1 a game.
Yeah. So, like I said, just 2 great players that just went at it. But I just feel like Hicks's team showed up and played awesome, and that's why they're heading to Salt Lake on Thursday. So, do you have that bracket pulled up now?
Do. Okay, so let me go to the bottom. So they've got the times backwards here. So on the girls, the first girls game of the day on Thursday, 4 p.m. will be the Tabiona Tigers against the White Horse Raiders. It is at 4 o'clock. That's the number 3 and number 6 seed. 5:30, the number 2 Wayne Badgers against the number 7 Valley Buffaloes. The 7 o'clock game will be the number 1 Panguitch Bobcats against the number 9 Wendover Wildcats. And the last game of the night, 8:30, the number 4 Rich Rebels against the number 5 Paiute Thunderbirds.
Yeah, so some, like I said, on the girls' end.
The girls and boys.
I mean, I feel like on the girls' end, it's going to be some good basketball.
I mean, there's 8 games on Thursday between boys and girls, and I honestly think all 8 games can be good games.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see any of them. I could be wrong. I've been wrong once before.
Yeah.
But I don't see any of them being blowouts. I think they'll be pretty solid games.
Yeah, for sure. And, we went back and forth trying to decide who we think's probably going to take the tournament here. But, on the boys' end, I think I got to go with the Rich Rebels. I think they're just, they was there last year. They got the experience. They got Lundgren that just confidence is just, he's there, man, when it comes to pressure situations.
Well, and Jet Holmes has been shooting the ball extremely well the last few weeks of this season. So that's a big key for them too. And
so, I think, in my opinion, I think the Wayne Badgers and the Rich Rebels, I think that's my opinion. I think we're going to see in the tournament.
Well, I think on this one, I'm going to keep my opinion to myself because I have a lot of thoughts going through my head on who could possibly do this, and I'm just going to keep it to myself.
But like I said, that's my opinion. I think the Rich Rebels, I just think they've been playing so well. They got the experience, and that's why I'm picking the Rich Rebels to go.
I will say this. There's a few teams that I wouldn't mind seeing win the whole thing. I would like to see Rich win because they are in our region. I know, well, when I was in school, that's kind of how it was. Regions cheered for regions.
Yeah.
But that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go any more on that.
Well, and then on the girls' end, I won't lie, I'm really rooting for our Tabiona Tigers. I do think they, like we've talked about, I think they got the weapons. They've got the experience going into them championship games. I just hope Coach Fabrizio can finally get past that curse. Is it going to be easy? Heck no. It's going to be, it's tough to get there.
This year may be one of the toughest years because there is a lot of good girls teams.
Yes, there is. if you want my opinion, I think it's going to be Taviona and Rich hitting it in the championship. So
I hope AJ's not listening to you. She's, for the record, I'm not saying anything on this one either. Obviously, I'm rooting for the Tigers.
yeah,
You know, these girls are from my hometown. I know all of them. I've gotten to know some of them a lot better during the year. Obviously, I'm cheering for them.
so
But I think it's going to be a great tournament.
Taviona, don't let me down, please. AJ, if you're listening, trust me, you scare us. I promise.
There's so many things, because you could sit here for an hour and talk about Taviona. You could sit here for an hour and talk about Wayne. You could talk about Rich. You could talk about Paiute. Like, there's just
And Panguitch too.
Panguitch, yes. I mean, there's so many things that you and I could sit here and talk about and be like, well, here's why I see this team could win. But here's why I see they could win. It's just, I'm really excited. Like I said, I think it's going to be a great tournament. Some really good games. There's going to be some heartbreakers for sure.
Oh yeah, there's definitely going to be
But-
some tears put on the floor, because there's going to be some games that are going to be for sure heartbreakers. Like, yeah, that's for sure. But
new facility. To my knowledge, it has never been played at Salt Lake Community College. I don't ever remember it being there. So, new background for all the boys and girls going to play there. They've never seen this gym. If they have, they went for something else. They've never, I don't think, played in this gym. But, that could play a factor too. There's going to be a lot of teams that's going to have to stay overnight. There's going to be, I don't know if any of them will travel.
like I said, there's so many different scenarios, but that's what I'm locking in with. I know you have your opinions, but
Let me just tell you this: I'm going to be there every single game, every single day, because there's not a game here that I want to miss.
Right.
It's going to be that good.
But yeah, I can't wait. But yeah, on the boys' end, Rich, I think they can do it, and on the girls' end, I really think the Taviona Tigers can do it. So,
Well, with that said, guys, like we just said, we will be there. If you see us down there, if you listen to the podcast, stop and say hi. We appreciate it more than we can even say.
we'll probably be wearing these new.
Yep, we got
our
us
new
some
merch.
shirts, so we'll be easy to find.
Yeah.
Come stop, say hi. A couple of you coaches, players that we've talked to throughout the season about, meeting up. If we can make that work, we still want to do that. But yeah, stop in and say hi. And some of you, probably all of you most of you have no clue who we are. We know just about who all of you are because we've been watching, so we at least know your face. But anyway, yeah, guys, don't be afraid to come up and say hi. We appreciate you following us. It's been so fun doing this all year and following all these boys teams, girls teams, just seeing players develop, players shine, teams shine. It's been a lot of fun. I'm really glad we finally decided to do this.
Yeah, and to end it, we'll got Coach Gines' memory, and we'll probably end it with that, with his memory that has to do with the state tournament in 1987.
It's the next chapter from last week's.
Yeah.
You want me to read it again?
Yeah, read it.
Okay. The year was 1987. The Tigers had just won the region championship and was going to the state tournament for the first time in 16 years. The town was buzzing, making plans to attend the tournament in Cedar City. One side note, when we got to the motel, it was not up to Tina's expectations. I'm going to say this, I haven't read this yet, so I don't have a clue what's coming here. It was not up to Tina's expectations, which is Tina is Coach's wife, and she made us move to a more suitable motel. Anyways, the first day we defeated Dugway. The next day we played North Sevier, which is crazy. That's
Like I said, there was no 1A, 2A division type
yeah.
stuff. It was kind of the whole state was involved, from what I understand. So.
It was a hard-fought game. In the closing second, the Tigers were up 1 as time expired. A player from North Sevier took a shot. It went over the outstretched arm of a 6'6" Brian Lee, and it found its way to the hoop, and we lost by 1. We were all sad, but at the same time, we were just happy to play tomorrow. We played Paiute the next day, but lost. Even though we were out of the tournament, the Tigers proved they could make it to the tournament, and we have been there regularly since 1987. Now, many families plan vacations around the tournament. It's a great time of year. Go Tigers.
And that's the truth too.
I'll-
I mean, we've always said if you wanted to, probably clean house in Tabiona, you'd do it during the state tournament. Because there's no one's in the valley when it comes to the basketball.
I remember my senior year. You just got looking around because Tabby. You guys that aren't familiar with it, you pretty much know everybody.
Yeah.
There are some people now that's come in that I don't really know, but back then I knew everybody. And I remember sitting there one day. We were down at SUU Cedar City, and just looking through the crowd, and I'm like, there can't be a single person left in town.
No.
Because I recognized everybody in the stands.
Like, who's running the store?
Exactly. Who's got to be there for the ambulance if something gets like there's nobody around.
Yeah.
But he's right. A lot of families, myself included, this is one time a year that I take for vacation time, and I love to go to the tournament, obviously to support the Tigers, but I just love the atmosphere. There's just so many good games every year, and it's just fun to see who steps up, who wants to get over that finish line.
It really is.
So thank you, Coach, for sending that in.
And did you have another one? Or?
No, before we completely finished, I've got the sponsor, one of the sponsors' information we didn't have before.
I was just going to roll out them sponsors again. I just want to say thank you to Kyle Grant, Grant Heating and Cooling in Duchesne. If you need anything to do with your heater, furnace, AC, give him a call. Myself, DFA Logging, if you need lumber, logs, anything, firewood, get a hold of us. Hayes Giles with HG Outdoor Customs, Steel Buildings and Pipe Fence. Please give Hayes a call if you got anything as far as pipe fence or buildings of any kind. And then our Giles Glass, Uncle Brett just supports us in everything we do.
Mm-hmm.
So I just got to hand it to Uncle Brett. If you have anything to do with a windshield, house, if you need just anything to do with a window, he's your man to get a hold of. And then
Brett is a perfectionist, so I promise you it will be a great job.
Yes.
And then the other one, our cousin Dylan Hoffman, he's got DH pipe and cells for all of your steel pipe fence needs from 2 7/8 to 2 3/8 or sucker rod. He says this would be great for building fence, which kind of goes against what old Hayes is doing here. But for fence, corrals for your animals, or just a nice perimeter fence. If you have any questions, contact Dylan.
Yep.
So, and he did put his number here, 435-828-1802. And he is based out of Neola is where he lives.
And that's one thing I need to get is all these numbers put in. But I just wanted to mention the sponsors because, like I said, without the sponsors, we wouldn't be getting us a studio put together.
And with that said, guys, if you hear these sponsors and you are interested in talking to them, feel free to send us an email and we can get you their contact information from there, because we should have it all. We should have planned for this a little bit, but we don't. But the email is the GD1A Sports Podcast at gmail.com. So if you want their contact info, shoot us an email and we'll get it to you and we'll go from there. So,
but with that, I hope we see everyone at the state tournament. It's going to be awesome. I actually got a full week, 2A.
You're going to be busy.
I'm going to watch 2A tomorrow and then roll in with 1A. So,
and me being the peasant, I have to work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so I won't be there till Thursday.
Yep, we can't wait to see everybody on Thursday.
And like we said, we're going to do a brief recap after each night, so you guys can tune in for that as well. I'll try to get it uploaded just as soon as we're done. So that night, maybe a little later, depending on the games, you can catch it the next morning. But we'll be doing a recap on that. So.
But with that, thank you, and we'll catch you at the state tournament.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate it so much.
Are you ready? 3, 2, 1.